G'day everyone, it's springtime, the wattle is in flower, it's hay fever season. Wilson Slickbacks. Yet they're going mad! Finally! Rightio everyone, don't let a runny nose or an itchy eye or a touch of the sniffles deter you. It is springtime and I get hay fever a lot and it's a bit of a bugger. But anyway, today we are the first week into the Murray cod close season and I'm going to be doing a review on the Wilson Slickbacks. Now it may seem a little bit odd, or it does seem very odd, that I'm reviewing one of the best known Murray cod lures in the first week of the closed Murray cod season. But there is method to my madness, and that is I was asked to do it by a young fella. He's got a voucher and he wants to go and buy some lures and he wants to know a bit more about the Wilson Slickbacks, so I'm going to do the review right now. Now before I talk too much about the Wilson Slickbacks, let me disclaim, for want of a better word, they're actually a discontinued line. So I'm doing a review on a lure that's getting increasingly harder to find, but they are one of my favourite Murray cod lures. Now, I often compare the Wilson Slickbacks to the #1 stump jumper. The big stump jumper has probably got the highest profile of any Murray cod lure in the industry. And I compare the Wilson Slickbacks to them because they're a similarly priced lure. The Slickbacks might be $1 or $2 dearer, but that's about it. So they're quite an affordable lure for most anglers. And the other reason I compare these to the stump jumper is because they're the same but different, if that makes sense. They're similar size, similar sort of colours, they do the same thing, but they function quite differently. Now, the Slickback, this is the largest one. I'm not even sure what size it is, I think it's 100mm or something like that. That's my favourite coloured Wilson Slickback, the pink and white. They come in a great variety of colours, they come in 3 or 4 different sizes, and they are a great cod catcher. Now, the thing I like the most about the Wilson Slickbacks is that they have a very steep dive pattern. I do a lot of lure casting from the banks and they will dive down into the structure really quick, and that's very important. That's one of the things I love the most. The other thing I love the most is that they're not as buoyant as the stump jumper. In other words, they are a floating lure, but they don't float as well. When you're retrieving your lure through the water and you can feel the lure running over logs and you like to pause the lure and allow it to float up over the logs before you continue the retrieve, the more buoyancy the better, so the stump jumper wins. But when you're casting from the bank towards a snag pile, but both lures will hit the water. On impact they usually go down 6 or 8 inches or 20 centimetres or so. They'll go plop, they'll sink, the stump jumper comes straight back up. By the time you click your reel into gear and start retrieving it, the stump jumper's back up on the surface, but the Wilson Slickback is still a good 20 centimetres or so down, which means not only does it dive steeper, but it's getting a better head start, and that's a huge thing. It might not sound like much, but most Murray cod fishermen will tell you that Murray cod love to hog the logs. They get really close to the snags. The closer you can get your lure to being under that log where the cod's likely to be, the better. So by casting it out, it sinks a little bit, then retrieving it, they might only put it 30 centimetres closer to the fish, but that's a lot of the time, that's all it takes. So they win in that regard. So they lose in the sense that the less buoyancy makes it harder to walk them through snags, but they win in the sense that when you start your retrieve, and when you're casting your lure, doing casting retrieve, and you start your retrieve, it's starting down a bit deeper and it's diving steeper. So that's a win to the Wilson Slickback. The paint on the Wilson Slickback is not great. Now, what I've found, here's a metallic one. That's a metallic Wilson Slickback. What I've found is that the metallic colours, the paint peels off very quickly and very easily. It's actually very poor. I'd say that is its weakest. That's probably the worst thing about them, is the paint comes off too easily. More so on the metallic Slickbacks. The upside to that is that they still catch fish. They just turn white and still catch fish. Right, now they come in 3 or 4 different sizes, the Wilson Slickbacks. Here I've got the 2 biggest ones, and you can see there the difference in size between the biggest and the second biggest. They are the best slickbacks from the range. The biggest one is my favourite for casting for Murray cod. It is brilliant. It's big, it's fat, it's got a nice wide sway pattern, and it dives deep, and Murray cod climb all over it. The second biggest one is fantastic also for Murray cod. It might be a little bit big for yellow belly, but you would get a few yellow belly on it. But it's equally as good, it swims equally as well. And in the smaller waterways, like some of the little creeks and stuff that I fish for Murray cod, these are fantastic. The next size down, I don't rate very well. The dive pattern isn't great, they don't dive very deep, and they're just not as good a swimmer as what the bigger ones are. So with the slickbacks, the bigger is better. The biggest one is just fantastic, I love it, I rate it highly, and I'm disappointed that they're going to be discontinued. The second one down, I love it, I rate it very highly as well, and I'm disappointed that they're going to be discontinued. Great for all Murray cod water, great for small Murray cod water. The smaller ones, well, I'm not going to say too much because they're not as good. Anyway folks, I hope this lure review on the Wilson Slickback has helped you out. As I stated at the start of the video, they are a discontinued line. There's still quite a few in circulation, but they're going to become harder and harder to get your hands on. I know Tony Bennett down at Lake Mulwala Fish Camp Ski still has quite a few. I'm not sure about Adventure Camping and Fishing in Wangaratta. They may still have a few as well, I think. But anybody that sells Wilson products, mastered Fustache line clips are Wilson, Venom fishing rods are Wilson, anything with Wilson on it, Wilson live fibre, Wilson Slickbacks, they're obviously Wilson. Anybody that deals with Wilson tackle has got the potential to get Wilson Slickbacks while stocks last, but they are on the way out. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I've got some great fishing videos coming up very soon.